Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are breaking down a very specific and very painful moment that I think every host in this game has probably felt at least once.
Oh, yeah. You know the one?
It's that moment you see an inquiry pop up. You look at the potential payout, and your heart it skips a beat. We're not talking about a 3-day weekend here.
No, this isn't a bachelorette party.
Not at all. We're talking about a 6-week corporate relocation. $12,000? Maybe 15.
The whale. It's the holy grail of bookings.
Exactly. You see the numbers, you do the math in your head, that pays the mortgage for the next 6 months. So you type out this perfect reply, you hit send, and you wait.
And you wait.
Nothing. Just silence.
Yeah.
You've been ghosted. The whole thing just vanishes.
It is the single most frustrating feeling. And you're just left there wondering, was it my price? Did I reply too late? Did they just find a hotel instead?
And usually we just kind of shrug and say, oh, well, they probably weren't serious anyway. But today, we're digging into some material from Jorge Garcia over at Roadmap Lodging that points to something a lot more uncomfortable. If you're getting ghosted by these high-value corporate clients, it's probably not because they aren't serious. It's because you scare them off.
That's the hard truth we really need to unpack today. The whole premise is that corporate clients, we're talking relocation managers, insurance adjusters, travel coordinators, they operate with a totally different psychology than a vacationer.
Right.
So if they ghost you, it's almost always because your listing or maybe your communication tripped some kind of wire in their internal risk assessment.
Risk assessment, that sounds so clinical. I mean, we're talking about renting a house, right? Not buying a company. Is it really that deep?
Oh, it's that deep. To get why it matters so much, we have to profile the person on the other end of that keyboard. Let's call her Jane.
Okay, Jane. Let's get inside Jane's head.
So Jane is a relocation coordinator for a mid-sized tech company. She has 5 open files on her desk right now. She's got a VP of engineering moving from Austin to Seattle, a consultant coming in for a 2-month project, and, a family displaced by a fire.
So she's stressed.
She's super stressed. She has a budget she has to spend, but she also has a boss breathing down her neck. If she books a place for that VP and it's a disaster, well, Jane doesn't just get a bad review on a platform.
No, her job could be on the line.
She might actually lose her job. It's her professional reputation.
So the stakes for her are completely personal.
Exactly. Look, when a tourist books your place and the Wi-Fi is a little spotty, they get annoyed. They leave a 4-star review.
Right.
When Jane books your place for that VP and the Wi-Fi crashes in the middle of a board meeting, it's a full-blown catastrophe. So Jane, she isn't looking for charm. She's not looking for quirky.
She's looking for predictability.
She's looking for safety. She is looking for what I'd call plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability, what do you mean?
I mean, if something goes wrong, she needs to be able to look her boss in the eye and say, I did my due diligence. Look at this listing. It looked perfect. It was a professional setup.
Oh, okay.
So if your listing has even one little red flag, one moment of amateur hour, you become a liability to her. And she ghosts you because she simply cannot risk you.
That makes perfect sense, but it still feels like such a high bar. How do we even know what these red flags are? Because honestly, to me, my listing looks great.
And that's the tricky part. But Garcia breaks this down into 3 main categories where hosts, unknowingly repel these contracts. You've got physical standards, amenities, and operations.
Okay.
And I want to start with the physical because there is one specific detail he mentions that drives hosts crazy, but it is a massive psychological trigger for people like Jane.
All right, lay it on me.
Wrinkled sheets.
Oh, come on. Seriously. We're starting with laundry.
I know. It sounds so petty.
It sounds ridiculous. It's cotton wrinkles. If I've got a $15,000 contract on the table, you're telling me Jane is going to walk away because my duvet cover isn't, military pressed?
To you, it feels like nitpicking, but you have to see it through Jane's eyes. She is scrolling through 50 listings. She has, 3 seconds to make a judgment call on each one. When she sees a photo of a bed with wrinkled, messy sheets, what's the subconscious signal there?
That I didn't feel like ironing them.
No, the signal is lack of standards. It signals that this is a casual operation, maybe a side hustle. If you didn't care enough to make the bed look like a hotel product for your marketing photos, the one time it's supposed to look its absolute best.
What else are you being lazy about?
Exactly. Do you clean the vents? Is the safety lock really secure? Is the billing going to be accurate? It's a signal.
It's like the old Van Halen story. The no brown M&Ms in the contract writer.
It is precisely that. If the visible details are sloppy, the invisible, more important details are assumed to be dangerous. Jane wants a hotel-like product in a home-like setting.
So when she sees a crisp, tight bed, she sees a professional.
A professional operator.
Yeah.
And when she sees wrinkles, she sees a hobbyist. And Jane does not sign 6-week contracts with hobbyists, period.
So it's not actually about the wrinkle itself, it's what the wrinkle represents.
It is a proxy for trust, and this goes for the rest of the aesthetic, too. Garcia calls it the amateur aesthetic. This means clutter, bad lighting, grainy photos.
Oh, clutter is a huge one. I see so many listings that have, the host's personal book collection or family photos on the wall or just stuff everywhere.
Personal artifacts are absolute kryptonite to corporate bookings.
But why? I thought the whole point of platforms like Airbnb was to feel at home.
At home, yes. In your home, no.
Oh.
And there's a huge difference.
Okay.
If Jane is booking for an insurance client who just lost their house in a fire, that family needs a blank slate. They need to feel like this space is theirs to recover in.
Not like they're intruders.
Right. If they walk in and see your shot glass collection and your kids' art on the fridge, they feel like they're borrowing someone's life. It feels temporary.
And for the business traveler, it just looks unprofessional.
Totally. Jane wants to see a neutral, high-end, uncluttered space. Think Marriott executive apartment, not spare room at my cousin's house. If your photos look like they were taken with an old phone in the dark, she just scrolls right past. She has to. She can't present that to her boss.
Okay, so declutter. Hire a pro photographer. And for the love of all that is holy, iron the sheets.
Got it. Let's move on to the second category. Amenities. And I'm guessing you're going to tell me that just saying fast Wi-Fi isn't enough anymore.
Fast Wi-Fi is a completely meaningless phrase in 2024. To a corporate client, that's like saying, we have electricity. It's the bare minimum.
It's a utility.
It's a utility. But here's where hosts fail. They don't quantify it. They don't prove it.
So what should they be doing instead? You need to post a screenshot of a speed test right there in your listing photos. And we're not just talking about download speed for watching Netflix. We're talking about upload speed.
For the endless Zoom calls.
For the endless Zoom calls. If Jane's VP is on a quarterly earnings call and his video freezes because you have 100 millips down but only 5 millips up, that is a fireable offense for Jane.
Wow.
You need to show that screenshot. If you don't, Jane just assumes your internet is bad. She can't risk that phone call from the VP saying, I can't work from here.
Okay, so technical specs in the listing. What about the workspace itself? Because I'll be honest, I've worked from plenty of dining room tables in my life.
You have, I have. But we weren't being relocated for 6 weeks to do high-intensity work. Garcia is super clear about this. A laptop on a dining table is not a workspace. And a laptop on a sofa is definitely not a workspace.
You need a dedicated desk then.
You need a dedicated desk and a proper ergonomic chair, not a wooden dining chair. Think about it. If you're sitting on a hard chair for 8 hours a day, for 40 days straight, you are going to be in actual physical pain.
And Jane knows that.
Or at least Jane's HR department knows that. They have liability concerns about ergonomics. If she sees a listing with a proper desk and a task chair, she thinks, okay, this host gets it. They understand business travelers.
And if she sees a staged photo of a laptop on a kitchen island,
she thinks, this is a vacation rental. Next. It really is about shifting your mindset from what would a tourist enjoy to what does a remote worker need to function.
it's the difference between a place to sleep and a place to live and work.
And this applies to the kitchen, too. We see so many fully stocked kitchens that have, like, 4 forks, 1 dull knife, and a microwave.
The bachelor pad special.
Right. But if you're relocating a family for 2 months, they need to cook real meals. They need a blender, a colander. They need Tupperware. Tupperware. That is such a small detail, but you're so right. If I cook a big batch of chili, where do I put the leftovers?
Exactly. If you don't provide food storage containers, you're forcing them to use foil or, bowls with plates on top. It's just annoying. It's a daily reminder that they aren't really home.
A corporate housing provider thinks about the Tupperware.
An amateur host thinks about the welcome basket with a bottle of wine. The wine is nice, but the Tupperware is essential.
Okay, that's a brilliant distinction. So let's say you've got it all. The iron sheets, the gigabit fiber, the Tupperware. You look the part. This brings us to the third category, and I think this is where the most money is really left on the table.
Operations. The actual business side of things.
The speed of business.
Let's go back to Jane. It's Tuesday morning. She gets a relocation request at 9 a.m. She pulls up listings, and she sends out 5 inquiries by 9:30. She wants to have options on that VP's desk by 11:00 a.m.
That's a 2-hour window.
That's
That is
a
tight.
little-
Yeah. Very tight. Now imagine host A replies at 9:45 a.m. Hi, Jane. Yes, we are available. Here are the specs. Clear and fast. Host B is at their day job, sees the notification, but thinks, I'll deal with that when I get home. They reply at 6:30 p.m.
It is game over for host B.
Host B doesn't even exist anymore. To Jane, the file is closed. The decision was made 7 hours ago. In the corporate world, slow communication doesn't just signal that you're busy. It signals incompetence.
Ouch.
I mean, if you take 10 hours to reply to a sales inquiry, which should be the most exciting part, how long will it take you to reply when the heat goes out in January?
So you have to be glued to your phone if you want these clients.
Yeah.
That sounds exhausting for someone doing this as a side hustle.
It's demanding, but that is why these contracts are worth $15,000. You are being paid for professional level availability. If you can't reply instantly, you need an automated response or a co-host. Speed is a form of trust.
Speaking of communication, I have to bring up something that drives me nuts on social media and even on some platforms. The whole DM for details culture.
Oh, this is a massive pet peeve in the corporate procurement world. Just massive.
You see it everywhere. Message me for rates. DM for info.
If you do this, you are screaming to Jane, I'm an amateur.
Jane is not buying a used couch on Facebook Marketplace. She is a procurement professional executing a contract. She needs everything up front.
She does not have time to haggle.
She doesn't have the permission to haggle in DMs. She needs a paper trail. She needs an invoice she can forward to her accounting department. When you hide information behind a DM me, you're just creating friction.
And friction kills deals.
Friction is the enemy of the transaction. And it also feels shady, doesn't it? Like, why won't you tell me the price? Does it change depending on who's asking?
Exactly.
Garcia is so clear on this. To win these clients, you have to be ready with the paperwork. You need a standard lease agreement ready to go, and not just the platform's default terms, but a real corporate rental agreement if you're booking direct.
And a professional itemized invoice. Yes. Can we just talk about that for a second? Corporate clients often need to pay via check or ACH. They need a specific breakdown on the invoice for their tax people. They need to see rent separated from service fee, separated from tax.
Right.
If you send them a screenshot of a Venmo QR code that says, just Venmo Steve, you are going to give their accountant an actual heart attack.
Yeah, that is not going to fly with a Fortune 500 audit.
It creates a massive headache for Jane. Now she has to explain to accounting why they're paying some random person with no W-9 on file. And guess what? The next time Jane needs to book a place, she is going to remember that headache.
And she's going to call the person who sent her a clean PDF invoice and a W-9 within 5 minutes.
Which brings us to the real solution here. It's a shift from being a host to being a vendor.
A vendor, that is the word. You are part of their supply chain.
When you understand that, the ghosting stops. Because
Yeah.
you stop acting like a risk and you start acting like a solution.
And the beauty of this is what Garcia calls the pipeline concept.
Yes. This is why it's all worth the effort. If you impress Jane just once, if the sheets are crisp, the Wi-Fi is blazing fast, the invoice is clean, and you made her look good to her boss.
She is never going to search for another place in your city again.
Never. You become the person in that city. She might have 10 relocations a year. You just potentially secured $100,000 in revenue from one single relationship.
And that's how you build a real business.
Not just a side hustle. And the amazing thing is, none of this requires you to buy a new house or do a massive renovation.
No. It requires an iron, a router upgrade, a proper desk, and a PDF template.
And a mindset shift.
A radical mindset shift.
You have to stop taking the ghosting personally and start analyzing it professionally. If they disappear, it's not because they're rude, it's because you failed their audit.
That's a tough pill to swallow, but I think it's the medicine a lot of us probably need to hear.
But it's also empowering, right? Because it means the problem is fixable. You have control over this.
Absolutely. So let's wrap this up with a challenge for everyone listening. We've covered the wrinkles, the Wi-Fi, the paperwork. If someone's listening right now and thinking, okay, I want those $15,000 bookings, what is the very first thing they should do when they get home tonight?
I want you to do a CEO audit.
A CEO audit. Okay, walk me through that.
Pull up your own listing on your phone. Then check your last 3 responses to inquiries. Now, I want you to imagine the CEO of a major company, someone whose time is billed at $2,000 an hour, is looking over your shoulder at that screen.
That's an intimidating image.
It should be. Look at your photos. Are the sheets wrinkled? Is there a random dog toy in the corner of the living room shot? Now look at your response time. Did you take 4 hours to say, yes, it's available?
Would you say DM for deets?
God, I hope not. And then ask yourself one question. Would that CEO see a reliable business partner, or would they see a risky gamble? Because that split-second gut check is exactly what Jane is doing every single day.
And if you can pass that audit, you stop being a ghost story.
And you start being a line item in their budget.
A permanent, profitable line item. I love that. Boring is profitable.
In the corporate world, predictable is profitable. Boring is beautiful.
All right, everyone. Go buy some Tupperware, run a speed test, and please, iron those sheets. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
See you then.